Former Interior Minister Fier Tahiri handed over some additional documents to the serious crimes prosecution in relation to the case he is accused of being a part of, involving the Habilai group. Kosovo MPs have been invited to gather on October 31st to decide on negotiations with Serbia. Both the opposition and Prime Minister Ramush Haradinaj demand that the group of MPs be included in the talks. As of last night, the animals housed at the Fier Safari Park, labelled as Hell Park by the Daily Mail, have been transferred to Tirana Zoo and are receiving special care from the Four Paws veterinarians. Good evening, it's 6 o'clock on Monday the 29th of October 2018. Welcome to the English edition of Aura News. My name is Alexandra and I'm here to bring you the day's top stories from across the country translated into English. The former Interior Minister Fier Tahiri left the Serious Crimes Prosecution Office, where he was called to provide evidence regarding who he called the defendants. I showed something important for the process in the prosecution. I will speak concretely after 2 or 3 days. I submitted evidence that I consider decisive. Wait 2 or 3 days and you will hear it, said Fier Tahiri. But is he afraid that he will be taken as a defendant? I'm not afraid. I ask for your understanding. I have over a year to hear endlessly of this and I've been silent, so you will have to wait for 2 or 3 days. He was accompanied by his lawyer, Max Hajia. An Aura News journalist confirmed before the former Interior Minister arrived at the prosecution office that it was expected that Fier Tahiri would submit some additional documents. Investigations against the former minister have been postponed until January 17th. This is the 4th postponement of investigations, while Albanian politics boils on allegations and counter-accusations. The investigations carried out show that the citizen under investigation, Moisi Habilai, and his associates has collaborated with senior state police officials. The suspect is the former Interior Minister, and Fier Tahiri is under investigation. In collaboration with the Interior Minister Fier Tahiri, persons under investigation have managed to cultivate considerable quantities of narcotics and transport them in an organised way to a destination abroad, said sources from within the prosecution. These statements suggest that the prosecution believes the former Interior Minister was involved in supporting and protecting criminal organisations. The former Interior Minister was accused by the opposition of being involved in narcotics trafficking. This was after the wiretapping of the group Habilai in Italy, where his name was mentioned as the person who was assisting them. In statements to the media, the opposition accused Tahiri of travelling with Habilai to Greece in a vehicle that he had previously sold. Another charge was Tahiri's yacht trip to Montenegro. From his part, the former Interior Minister has rejected the charges as he handed over the mandate of the deputy, asking for a full investigation from the prosecution. The Assembly of Kosovo is expected to hold a special session on Wednesday where the procedures for continuing the dialogue with Serbia will be debated. A group of MPs have proposed a resolution calling for President Hashim Thaci not to continue the talks. For this purpose, Prime Minister Ramush Haradinaj has proposed this to the Parliament and a group of negotiators. MP from the Democratic League of Kosovo, Armen Zemaj, invited all political groups to become part of the discussion and to come up with a common rhetoric. Even the Speaker of the Parliament, appealed to local political leaders to overcome their grudges and think of Serbia as the real opponent, as it continues to not recognise independence. The idea of border correction continues to be a point of inconsistency among the top leaders in Kosovo. President Hashim Thaci and his Serbian counterpart see the issue of demarcation as a condition for the integration processes in the European Union, while from the analysts it was emphasised that the adoption of this agreement establishes the recognition of the state of Kosovo by Belgrade. But Kosovo Prime Minister Ramush Haradinaj and most of the policymakers in the country are against the proposal. According to them, the border was determined by war and accepted by the internationals, and there is no need for them to be revised. At the weekend, the former head of the Serbian delegation spoke of dialogue with Kosovo, stating that 2 neighbouring countries are closer than ever to reaching an agreement with the European Union, which will aim to normalise relations in 2019. The municipality of Tirana will distribute a brochure for the first-year students. The mayor, Erion Veliaj, held a meeting with them where he underlined that the guide will come to their aid by orientating them and giving more information for the contribution they can give towards different projects. Veliaj presented to the youngest residents of Tirana some of the great opportunities that the capital offers, not only for spending leisure time, but also for engaging in volunteer projects or activities. He He underlined that Tirana today offers various sporting and cultural activities every day, enabling everyone to find something they can enjoy. Therefore, Veliaj invited young students to attend the lake park, the reconstructed amphitheatre or other activities being organised in the capital. We need volunteers, and when I say volunteers, I do not talk about mortar and bricks. We need volunteers who can serve as counsellors, as psychologists, as social workers, that someone who may have experienced a difficult family situation can either confess to or seek help from. Our network of volunteers has endless possibilities, regardless of your profile, whether sporting, like the Marathon of Tirana, whether artistic, such as Tirana Art Fest, or a social profile. Of course, you help us, but I am convinced that a volunteer also helps themselves, said Arion Veliaj. Arion Veliaj added that next year the capital will have electric buses in operation. He also invited young people to use more bicycles to serve in assisting the environment. Next year we will start with electric buses. It is a much more comfortable way to use public transport, especially now that we are making lanes dedicated not only to bicycles but also for buses. If you want to travel around Tirana, it is better to use a bike, highlighted Veliaj. Once again, the Mayor of Tirana, Arion Veliaj, spoke about the importance of closing betting points, adding that this way young people will have more income to spend. He considered the decision to remove betting points from the city and consequently from Student City as good news. Boys will have more time for sports and more money in their pockets. I can't wait until January 1st when the spaces filled with gambling businesses in Student City are finally released. The money that is spent on gambling is money that could be spent in a much better way, such as with sports, activities, excursions, said Veliaj. As of yesterday evening, the safari park animals in Fier have been transferred to the Zoo of Tirana. They have received specialist services from veterinarians, while some of them will travel to Holland within a few months. The Tirana Zoo will be the new home for the 11 animals of the Fier Safari Park, which were transferred from the site labelled by the Daily Mail as Hell Park. Their illnesses and poor living conditions are clearly evidenced, from the lion, whose eye is damaged, to the one of the bears with a mutilated leg. The animals have received specialist services from the veterinarians of the international foundation, the Four Paws. They say that the animals will need time to adapt to their new habitat, and as such, in the coming days, they will undergo detailed checks. The antelope and deer left last night and they immediately started exploring their new environment. The lions and bears were released this morning and, in fact, they are a little stressed. I think it will take a few days to adapt to their new environment. In the coming days, we are seeking the opportunity to intervene in the health of the lions, said one of the veterinarians from the International Foundation. Their stay at the Tirana Zoo will be temporary. After a few months, based on the improvement of their condition, the 3 lions and the bear will be transferred to the Netherlands. Mio's Days brought together 20 painters from all over the world, throwing sands of the southeast and autumn colours onto the canvas. This is the work of 20 artists participating in the 11th edition of the International Colony of Mio's Days Figurative Artists. Landscapes from Corcha and its surroundings have always served as inspiration for the masters of the Talayo. Corcha is the town of culture. We will be returning, said one painter. The activity aims not only to establish bridges of communication between artists, but also to promote the values of the city. The exhibition was opened at the environments of the Museum of Education, or the first Albanian school, and will remain open for several days. Mayor Fier has also handed out certificates to the artists. As of today, the bust of our national hero is also present in Craiova, Romania. During the ceremony held on this occasion, the delegation from Albania urged Bucharest's official recognition of Kosovo while receiving support for European Union integration. Historical ties between the two countries are still strong today. Romania supports Albania in European Union integration processes and, as a member state, showed the benefits that Albania can take. We hope next year to meet you in the European Union, and Romania will be a full integration engine. This will be accompanied by more funds for Albania. Romania has received about 1 billion euros in investments. As far as I am concerned, I will put Vlora at the top of the European Union funds list, said the Romanian MP. During his stay in Craiova, the mayor of Vlora was received at a meeting by his local counterpart, with whom he signed a cooperation agreement. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join me again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.